QSO going on, and actually they'll take it outside, but we'll get started right now. So Anthony made himself available to us to talk. He's been doing this for how long?
Check.
Hey, go ahead, just keep talking.
Check.
There you go.
Joe, are you recording?
Yes.
So, well, I'm still not sharing the right screen, but that's okay.
Joe, are you starting?
Yes.
Okay, guys, the class is on. I gotta close this door.
All right, so my name's Tony, Tony Crisatello. Everybody just calls me Tony.
Hi, Tony.
And I've been working on this project for about 2.5 years. I've had a lot of help from community, from coworkers, friends, my fiance for putting up with all the nerdy stuff. But I've built this network over a couple of years. So basically, Meshtastic is an off-grid form of communication. So it uses the LoRa protocol for communications. It's GPS capable, and we're able to transmit basic telemetry through the network communications. It's a very low-powered system, and it's an open source network. Check.
There's connection on you?
Does it keep cutting out?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I could just talk loud.
Well, go ahead.
So,
Of course it'll work.
So the LoRa protocol, the LoRa signal, LoRa was developed in I believe 2009. It was developed by a French company, and then Semtech took it over. I have the Semtech LoRa document here if anybody's interested in the math and exactly how it works. A lot of the math I don't understand in that document, but if you like math, there it is. So LoRa uses the chirp as the basis for each modulated signal symbol. And what it does is it sends symbols, up chirps and down chirps.
I don't know why is so wonky here.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me? Okay. So there's speakers right there. They should be able to. So a chirp is a sine wave that increases or decreases linear with time. If anybody's ever seen a LoRa signal, it's a series of chirps on a spectrum, just like that. So what the LoRa signal does is first it sends a series of the same symbols over and over again to kind of wake the radio up. The radio is realizing, hey, I'm getting a signal. And then the later part of the signal is the actual message being transmitted.
Was that really sweeping through 100 megahertz in that one?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
So it uses the 915 megahertz band. It's the industrial, scientific, and medical band. It's a very small chunk of band. I'm sure that you guys have forgot more about RF than I know right now. So bear with me. It's a license-free band. Anybody can use it. As long as you're not interfering with major things in the community, it's okay. This signal has a high link budget, and that's what contributes to its range. The record range for a ground-to-ground based line of sight connection is 206 miles. And that's a direct connection from peer to peer, just using a little radio like this. It has low bandwidth, so you sacrifice bandwidth for range. You know, you can, but it bogs the network down if you try to send like multimedia, you know, big files, stuff like that. You're not really going to be able to do, but you get tons of range with it. It's a line of sight radio. I'm sure you guys. This is a college. You know, I did this at college, and you know, I'm sure you guys know a lot about GPS. So it's free to use. I didn't know this when I started this project, that GPS modules and the GPS system, you can buy the modules and just get the information. It's free. A use case scenario that I think would be awesome to see used and has been used in other counties, communities, states and stuff is search and rescue. These little radios, if our you know, infrastructure goes down and we're not able to communicate, first responders and stuff can put a little radio just in their pocket and they can still communicate with each other. Off-grid. So another use case, you know, it's really practical for off-grid camping, hiking, off-roading, any scenario where, you know, cell phone service and Wi-Fi internet you can't get it. This is perfect for that. It was actually developed, Meshtastic itself was developed in 2020 by a gentleman named Kevin Hester, and he's an engineer, and he developed it for that actual case use. He just wanted a cheap alternative to like Garmin and stuff like that.
Question, what's the difference between the orange radio and the one that you're wearing on your
Really nothing. The only difference is this one's black and this one's orange. This one has a screen, but they're both the same. They're doing the same thing essentially. This one has a little bit better of an antenna. You know, I just like pointing. Sure.
Just a quick question on the line of sight aspect, like point to point. Is there like how do you get 200 miles? Is it like, was there like a reflection of an inversion or?
So I know that after I hear you. After a certain amount of distance, there's a formula that you have to use to start calculating the curvature of the Earth, and you have to get up so high to make that curve. So the, you know, the signal will obviously line of sight. If it hits Earth, it's done. If it hits anything dense and solid, it's done. It can go through concrete, glass, your car, stuff like that pretty easy. But as soon as it hits the Earth, it's done.
So they probably had elevation.
Yep.
And maybe a different antenna, possibly a
No,
directional
they just
gain.
had, yeah,
Wow.
it's, yeah.
Is this ever go on a balloon up in the air?
Yeah, so,
Drew,
where's Drew?
he's launching a balloon.
Yeah, he's, so over the summer, we launched a balloon. And we got multi-state coverage, so nodes were popping up and people were communicating over multiple states. And then of course the balloon got like so high that it started to become out of range. You know, so yeah, that was an amazing experience. After, I don't have any pictures of that. But on my phone I do, and if anybody's curious about what the nodes what the network looked like when the balloon was up, I'll show you after the presentation. Telemetry. Temperature, pressure, humidity, and air quality. This radio right here is equipped with all of those. You can also equip these radios with other sensors. The Rack Wireless makes the WizBlock. And this is compatible with a lot of different sensors, radiation sensor, lux sensor, and it's open source. So basically, if you're good at coding, anything you can think up, you can make this radio transmit.
This component, what is it called?
LoRa radio, just a LoRa radio module, and there's a little baseboard. Yeah, you guys could pass that around.
No static sensitive components?
Probably, but.
CSD shoes?
Yeah, I forgot my wrist strap, so. But the thing is another great thing about this is it's cheap. It's that radio, that little radio was $35. If I throw it in a case and it doesn't work, I'll just buy another one.
And he will.
But just I've blown many radios, and it does get expensive. Trust me. Communications. So this is text message capable. A lot of people carry these on flights, international flights, national flights. And the time that they're overhead, 30,000 feet, they send messages. Hi, hey, what's up? So just to give you...
For phones? Or just from one device to device?
Yeah, device peer-to-peer. Yep. So that's the network. So extremely long range. It's a private, so that this can be up to 256-bit encryption. And because it's under 1 watt, the FCC hasn't regulated the encryption for that. And that's really good. The encryption is important because it's a mesh network. It uses everybody else's radios around to send messages. So if there's somebody in the middle of the room and I'm out of range from somebody in the back of the room, I will use their radio to bounce the message to them. But the person in the middle of the room can't ever, unless you can crack 256-bit encryption, and it'd be hard.
So how many machines, little devices like this, can you bounce your signal until you get to someone
Good question.
very far to another country?
Good question. So hypothetically, the record is 206 miles. So you can bounce a signal 206 miles to a radio, then another maybe half of that, and then another half of that, because there is a link budget. So after a certain amount of time, the link budget gets expended. Like if you've ever had Bluetooth headphones in and you tried to walk to another room, they start cutting out. Well, you've expended your link budget. Same thing happens with these, only over an incredible amount of distance.
So the signal degrades over distance?
Yes, and through hops. So after 3 hops, it starts dropping packets of information. For you guys, I think the best thing that I can relate it to is APRS. It's basically like APRS, only it's fully encrypted.
So if your hops are closer, does still degrade as bad?
Yeah, you can generally get more hops, but it still, when it goes through the radio, of course, you're gonna lose some of that link budget. And you want to try to set you can set these to client mute, repeater, and different settings, different configurations. So depending on where, like if I have a radio really high up and it's covering like an entire county, I set it to repeater. And then it's not going to expend that hop, it's just going to go and repeat.
So is it goes by voice or by text?
Text.
Or
Yep.
text?
Yep. So it's basically like a walkie-talkie for text messaging.
So is it smart enough to negotiate which peers it's going to use to get to the final destination, or does it just pick whatever has the best signal?
That's a great question.
What's the question?
So he was wondering if you can choose which radio you're going to bounce off of, or so it.
I mean, like if you had one station on hill, is it going to try to brute force its way through the valley, or is it smart enough to realize
Yes.
that one hop from the hill?
Yep. So it's going to prefer if everybody's sent to client, it's going to prefer the furthest radio. But if you have a repeater, you have it set to repeater, every radio is going to prefer that radio. And that's why you set them the ones that are high up to repeater.
Can you hook it to a screen?
Can so
Or
I
like a
can,
keyboard and a screen.
oh, yes, yeah, so.
Yeah.
This is a completely standalone unit. You don't need your cell phone or anything to.
Looks like an old BlackBerry.
Yeah, it's a little BlackBerry
Yeah.
with it.
Is it on?
My fiance calls it my detonator.
You mentioned APRS. Now, APRS sends a packet out, but if the other station,
Well, someone is already texting you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
the other station doesn't see it as perfect, it has to repeat that packet. It asks for a, send it again. Does this just send it out and then send, even if it's in?
Yeah, even so that's a great question. That's
What?
so LoRa is a very robust signal, and these radios can pick up these signals well below the noise floor, and still digest them.
Well, and then, like, I just looked it up, it's between like -120, -120.
Yes. Yep. Correct. So it's a very robust signal, and that's you know why it has high link budget, and you can get incredible range out of them.
The question is, if I can take just a regular, like a computer keyboard and, or a mouse and like a screen, yeah, okay.
Yep. So absolutely. So yes, you can. So online, there's a web client that you can interface with nodes, either serial port, Bluetooth, or anything, and you can use your computer as an interface device. So low power. Yeah, so this is, I mean, I'm sure you guys know more information about this than I do. This is from Google. Radio towers around here, we're talking big sites. You guys are probably cranking out 50,000 watts, you know, or 1,500 watts.
Well, for broadcast would be maybe, amateur would be up to 15.
Okay, perfect. So cell phone towers, we're talking like 100 watts or less per channel. And, you know, cell phone sites have multiple channels for multiple users. Meshtastic uses 1 watt. So I'm getting all this range with just 1 watt. I have some units down in the valley that I've been running for a better part of a year on a solar panel and a couple 18650s, and they just chug away. They barely use any power. You can configure them to even use less power. You can configure them to fall asleep until they receive a packet, and then they wake up, do their thing, and fall right back asleep. So in reality, you can configure some of these devices just to keep running and running years and years and years. The battery packs will die before the radios actually die.
Who invented it?
A gentleman developed, he's an engineer, his name's Kevin Hester, and he developed it for like camping. He didn't want to. One of the biggest things that I noticed in today's world is we have so many subscriptions. I just got my credit card hacked, and I had to go get a new one with a new number. Every day I was getting several emails about, oh, your subscription, you can't pay for your... I was paying, you know, a couple $100 a month in just subscriptions for apps and stuff. This is free to use. You buy these radios for $50, $100, and that's it. It's yours. You can interface with it with the app. You can buy an off-grid or a standalone unit, and you don't need a subscription to use it.
Where
So
did-
this is like something that is text message, but you're not having any voice, it's text message.
Just text message. They do make radios for voice, and you can send voice over this, but it's using a lot of
If you
bandwidth.
have another person that has one, like you have a husband and wife, or you got a group, can you know for sure that they're gonna get your signal?
Yeah, so this will, on the app, it does a handshake, so it'll send you back in an acknowledgement packet. That doesn't always work. Sometimes, like, if another radio receives your message, it'll just say, received by another radio. But if it doesn't, go anywhere, it'll say max transmission reached. And that signifies that nothing received it.
Is there a way to learn how to make one?
Yeah, so yes, that's a good question. Tons of support. There's me, you guys, whoever wants to build and configure, you have my information, and there is so much support out on YouTube and the internet. Meshtastic, the website itself has a lot of information, so there's a great support community out there.
Is there like a tutorial to teach me how to make one?
Oh yeah, yep.
That's what he's, right here, this.
Yep.
Anthony, is there the antenna restricted, or can you use other antennas?
So as long as it's tuned to 915 megahertz, you can use different gains. I brought. So this is a high. This is like a 12, and this is, I've learned a lot about antennas since I got this.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful where you buy antennas, because there's so many knockoffs, and somebody will say, hey, this is a 12 gain antenna. Antennas are theoretical, and a lot of science behind them is just theoretical. To actually test them, you need an isobolic chamber, and I can't remember. And it costs about $500, $800 to get them actually tested. But I buy my antennas from a reputable dealer. Rockland sells a lot of Meshtastic stuff. But yeah, you can use a higher gain antenna. At 1 watt, my biggest question, which I'm not really sure, and I couldn't find very much, but at 1 watt, is it really vibrating all of these? There's like 5 or 6 coils in here. Is it really vibrating?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Why do you have such a big antenna?
Well, I mean, I'm a nerd, and of course, that's a guy thing.
No, is it possible to?
I get asked that all the time.
Yes. Yep. So there's this, but I'm not gonna, especially with reception. If you're, using an antenna, if I'm using an antenna like that, I'm collecting some stuff out of this.
So it's not the same.
It's a round one.
Just different games.
That Yagi thing was in our living room.
Open source. So like I said before, it's open to configurations. It's a community-based network. All the people that are developing it right now encourage people to reconfigure it in different ways. There's Discord and stuff like that. I haven't monkeyed around with Discord a lot. I am on Discord, but I'm just getting started in interfacing with the community through Discord. But I do have information about Binghamton Meshtastic on Discord.
Is the LoRa protocol itself open source?
Yeah. Yep.
The 7.3 net has a lot of information.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activity on Meshtastic.
Yeah.
What do you mean unbuilded, unreliable, unbuilded?
So it can be unreliable at times. So if you're in a community of node goers and you're relying on somebody to repeat, it's like in the middle of the room and they take off, and I'm trying to communicate with somebody in the back of the room, I no longer have that connection. So, of course, building repeaters and building solar nodes and putting them up, that's basically, I laid the foundation by doing that. So this way, the end devices can function within the city without any signal loss. They're all going to get coverage, no matter how many end users there are.
So you're really relying on people who volunteer, but they may lose the commitment to maintain it. Sure.
Right. So the great thing is I mean, if I ever, probably never happened, but if I ever gave up on the hobby, I'd leave my repeaters up. I would leave them up simply because they will just sit out there and crank away. and maybe give them to somebody else and they can go out and update them. You know, it's the updates, like your cell phone updates automatically, these don't. So you actually have to go interface with the device to update it. And that kind of brings me to this, is I had a help from a gentleman, his name's Eric. And he came up with the idea to repurpose a crypto miner.
Actually, can I have you turn around? Actually, we're gonna stop your share for a second, just so that we can, go on camera here, and, so everyone can see this, why don't you, if you.
So just to show, yeah, if you wanna, can you full screen?
Yeah.
Check him out there on the phone, it's got the bright light.
Yeah, it looks
Hey,
like.
Jim.
It's been lit, the bases will come out.
So can you use a regular, like a random Bluetooth sensor or some kind of custom, can you interface with some Bluetooth device, BLE kind of thing?
Yes, that's
Okay.
a really good question. So you can flash updates via BLE. The little radios that I have, the end units, are all Bluetooth. I interface with them with my phone.
Oh, okay.
So I have this is so you guys heard of crypto mining. For years, crypto mining was a big thing. People made money off it. They were selling units for, you know, $500,000. Well, it came to a point where crypto mining no longer could, you know, produce money. So a lot of companies went belly up. The thing about that is crypto mining uses the same LoRa architecture and the same band as Meshtastic. So my friend Eric came up with the idea to get these crypto miners from a company that went belly up. I got it for $50. I had to buy this is the little radio, so this right here is the little radio. But it's equipped with a Raspberry Pi, a daughter board, a motherboard. It has PCIe slots, and I have a 4G LTE card. And these are antennas for the cell phone service. So if I put this, you know, on a mast 100 feet in the air, I can interface with the unit through 4G LTE. It's kind of, I mean, Eric dubbed it as the super node. So, you know, it'll just sit up on the tower and just chug away. This one I'm going to give to the Copernic, and
We got a pretty good site here.
yeah, you guys are 740, I think you are 750, 1750, 1750.
All right, so then we're back to.
There we go.
Supernode.
Oh, what happened here? There we go. Cost effective, so cheap radios. You know, the board that I passed around was $30. This little board here is like $20.
What's inside?
So it comes with some little tiny antennas and stuff, and you know, they're cheap. They're really cheap to build. This case is 3D printed. I heard you guys mention 3D printers. I'm gonna eventually here, when I get more time, get into 3D printing. I buy my 3D printed stuff online right now, but hopefully in the future I can start 3D printing and designing my own cases and stuff. Very cool stuff.
Anthony, what would you recommend, you know, if someone wants to, you know, get started, try it, get the feet wet? What would you suggest?
A perfect starter radio is one of these little card trackers. You can get them on Amazon for about $50. And you get it and you just hook it to your computer. There's on the website there's a flashing tool that you can flash updates. Again, tons of tutorials out there. You can just look up how to flash the card seed cap card tracker, and it'll show you step by step on how to flash these. But this is the perfect. you can just slip this in your pocket and walk around town or drive around town and still take advantage of the mesh network that is down in Binghamton.
What would be the next step after one that has an external antenna?
Yeah.
Or larger, something like
Yeah,
that?
something a little larger, Spec 5. Mind if
Steve, I would, the answer,
Yeah.
the way I got started just a couple months ago, I found a Meshtastic group on Discord.
Yep.
When I was looking at our Discord site, found Steve, a different Steve, and Tony here. I bought this one, this was I think $90, which is a little bit on the pricey side.
Yep.
Anthony was telling me I was crazy for spending $90.
But
For
it's
$90, I
well
bought
made.
this, I don't think I had the flash, I just turned it on.
Yep.
Download the Meshtastic app on your phone, which doesn't need cell service, all it needs is to be a battery, then Bluetooth from the phone to this, so this is a tiny screen, you get a big screen with this. And I was off and running, I sent out a message, Tony responded, another guy in Endwell responded, and I was off and running. And then when I travel, there's other groups who, just like our club, we have nets and also, they have nets on these, and they have text nets. You know, every Wednesday at 8 PM, they do a text net on Meshtastic, and they have websites, and it's, you know, all involved, so. Anyway, the short answer is, I got on Discord, found the Meshtastic group, bought this for $90, downloaded the app, and I was on.
Yep.
So what's the name you said I can find on Amazon, the name of the I mean, what should I search for?
Just Meshtastic, yeah, Meshtastic. So this is a picture, this is a little bit old, it's a little bit bigger than this, but this is what we have in Broome County right now. The radios hold memory. So some of these units were just driving through and we picked them up and they remain on my map because my radio remembers them. But we have a pretty big network right now down in Binghamton. It's right now it's connecting the Triple Cities, the whole Triple Cities. So you can pretty much go wherever you want and be able to take advantage of the network.
How much information will this hold, or does it overwrite as the day goes on?
So you can program it. Actually, John asked me this question just before we started. But you can set these radios to override or erase information as it becomes old. I haven't learned how to do that yet. So up in Preston, New York, the Berry Hill Fire Tower, I don't know if you guys know where that is, but I went up on top of the Berry Hill Fire Tower and I could get a stable-ish connection between there and Binghamton. And what I mean by stable-ish is most of my text messages went back and forth. I can remote into a Raspberry Pi here in Binghamton and interface with the node on my roof and text myself back. So I'm making sure that somebody's manning a radio because I'm manning the radio. So that's 32 miles. 62 miles. So the same place, Berry Hill Fire Tower, to Elk Mountain. I made friends with a gentleman he's a ham down, I don't know his call sign, but he's a ham down down on Elk Mountain. And I was able to text him, but he couldn't text me back because he didn't necessarily have the equipment that would support that range. But that was, we were exchanging telemetry. So even if you can't text message each other back, you're still going to get GPS coordinates, you're going to get temperature, humidity, or whatever sensors you have is still going to be shared throughout the network. Sometimes you just can't, you just can't get a text message through. Or sometimes you get a text message through and you can't get the telemetry.
There's no license required for this?
Nope. So there is a spot in the app where you can put your ham call sign in, and then you're able to transmit over 1 watt, but you lose the encryption. It has to be opened. So that's the picture of the Aggie antenna. I have this Aggie antenna pointed at Binghamton right now outside. That was pointed at Binghamton on the Berry Hill Fire Tower. So height is might. Like, any peer-to-peer or line of sight transmission, height is might. This is a solar node. So this has this little radio in it. And it's just got some 18650 batteries, has a temperature, pressure, humidity sensor on it, and a solar panel. This thing continues to sit. This particular one's actually in Elk Mountain right now, and it sits up there and just chugs away. It hasn't been through a winter on Elk Mountain. I'm excited to see that. Like I said, the batteries are the only thing that you really have to be concerned about.
Now, are you on the tower there at Elk Mountain, or?
No. So I come to find out it's expensive to put things on towers. Nor can you just go climb a tower. You'll get in trouble for doing that. So my goal is to get enough awareness. It's really hard. Building the network wasn't as hard as interfacing with government and the community to get people to open their minds about the technology. If I go to a point of high elevation and I want to put a node in somebody's yard or on somebody's roof, it's really hard to say, hey, how you doing? Can I put this ominous looking device on your roof? I mean, don't worry about what it does. So this is a handheld unit, a little car tracker. I was up on Round Top. I talked to the director of Parks and Recreation, but at the time she seemed really interested, but the communication fizzled out, and because she has to she has to talk to other government people, and they're probably like, hell no. Little card tracker.
That's the one you wear.
Yeah, this is the one I'm wearing here, and that's what I have for the slideshow. I think I'd like to talk about one more thing. Like I said, I've been working on this project for 2.5 years. The way that I got into this radio, this particular facet of the radio hobby, was through hams. I am a recovering alcoholic. I spent 20 years in active use. And I just came out of that about a little over 5 years ago. So a year, it took me a year to kind of get my bearings and get stable again. And then I got into, what you do is you pick up where you kind of leave off when you were a kid. And I was into radios when I was a kid. So I started looking up the ham hobby. I even got my GMRS call sign. After I started researching that for a little while, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get my call sign. It's going to be awesome. And then all of a sudden it just blew up into all these other hobbies that start with ham. So when I tell you that ham kind of saved my life, it helped me get my bearings. I got a job at BAE Systems. And with the support with the guys, some of the engineers and techs and stuff there, I started to go to engineering school, SUNY Broome. So building this network and looking into the ham hobby has shown me that it really doesn't matter so much where you come from. It's about where you're going. And it's inspired me. I mean, antennas, space, ham, all of that stuff fascinates me. And it's shown me that I am capable of amazing things if I put energy, effort, and some time into it. So I appreciate being here. Like I said, you guys probably know more about RF than forgot more about RF than I know right now. But it's truly a humbling, great experience to be here. So with that, is there any more questions?
Wow.
Is there a point where too many nodes will cause congestion in the system, or is it the more nodes the better?
So that's a good question. So yes, there is a point where eventually the network gets bogged down, but there's been conventions that have had hundreds and hundreds of nodes at one place, and they seem to be okay. Again, the configuration is important. Like if you have an end device, client mute is the way to go, especially if you have a roof repeater. If everything is sent to client, then everything is rebroadcasting, and it's like, opposed to dropping a pebble in a pool is to taking a hand of gravel and throwing it in a pool. So yeah, it does get congested. If people try to send huge files, it will get congested.
You mentioned the original use by the inventor as being for like his family out camping or something. What would be the advantage of that over, say, like a bunch of FRS radios or GMRS radios?
Range.
Oh.
Yeah, GPS. I mean, the record is 206 miles. I'm getting I don't know how many miles it is back to Bingham. I'm assuming like 10 miles back to Binghamton, and I have a solid connection back there. So, if you get separated from, your party of campers, you just go to a point of elevation, you hold your radio up, and you probably can find, other people with radios.
How does the signal look visually?
That's a good question.
I'm sorry.
So it's a spread pattern. You can look up on YouTube, I think, what the Meshtastic signal, and on a waterfall, it goes back and forth. And when you see it spread out, you'll see it, that's on the long slow channel. But on the long fast, where it's sending the signal real fast, it's just a red line. It goes bang, and that's it. That's the signal.
So not only do you need the radio, but you also need a cell phone or something else to input the message?
In most cases, people choose to use their cell phone as an interface device, but this is a standalone, and you can do everything right on that. The detonator.
You're welcome.
What do you mean everything?
What's that?
Oh, you said you can do everything. What is everything?
Text message, view the network, interface with the network. You can. There's a little map on it that you can see where other nodes are on the map.
So you can't talk or send.
Not on my network. You can. You can do that. It's just the bandwidth. The bandwidth isn't set up for multimedia. It's set up for range.
Is there any gateway to the internet?
Yes, MQTT. There's a server, an MQTT server that Meshtastic has set up that you can connect these. This is Wi-Fi capable. I don't have any of my network on MQTT because I really wanted to see the off-grid. So my network in Binghamton is completely separate from, besides people using their cell phones to interface with it. It's, that's just Bluetooth.
That's just to give you an
So the signal depends how it looks visually on the message sent? How many words, or I don't know?
Yeah, so it's a symbol-based system, and this is where my knowledge of how it works gets foggy. But it's the receiving radio is looking for certain symbols, and when it gets the symbol, it'll match up the symbol to the most likely symbol that matches, and then the radio digests it from there, and then the end result is the information you get on your phone or on the screen.
And it's end-to-end encrypted, so there's no man in the middle or like that or something?
No, completely encrypted.
So you say you can set up your cell phone to operate this through your cell phone?
Yes.
So can you talk to your cell phone and say, okay, you're gonna speak to the cell phone to type something out for you, a text message, rather than do the keys?
Yeah, so the cell phone for me, I'm already used to using a cell phone. Yep. So
So that's the Meshtastic app, it just looks like a messaging app, but that's the Meshtastic app. I type on there, it goes to here through Bluetooth, then from here it goes through the mesh to wherever it's
You
gonna go.
type on here, but do you have to type, or can you
Can
just?
I say, I don't know, let's try, I don't
Can
know.
you,
Voice communication?
Yeah.
People that are, that I'm connected to.
Don't see,
Yep.
oh, wait, what's that?
I can design my own
Voice
cell phone
dictation.
according to this.
Yeah, well,
I can
can?
add
Yes.
voice,
Okay.
like separate
you actually
Yes.
can,
Yeah,
there's,
you're right.
there's programs, if my radio receives a text message, there's a program in my phone that'll take that, text message and convert it to voice. So, there is possibilities, like I said, open source, I mean, you can, anything you can think of.
Is there
You
like
have two people that are like hiking together, one of them has little radios, can they both Bluetooth with their cell phones into that?
Could you repeat the question, just so that people on the live stream can hear it?
Go ahead, can you repeat that question?
If you have, say, two people that are hiking together, and one of them has one of those radios, can they both Bluetooth into that one radio and each send out text messages?
No, it's, as far as I know, it's just one, I've only been able to do one Bluetooth in, but there is ways that you can configure Bluetooth modules to support, multiple Bluetooth users. I haven't known a case where anybody's done that with a node yet.
So this is showing 3 nodes here at Copernic.
Yep.
Yes, that's all you.
Yeah, that's
No.
me.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes,
here.
it was me.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, there should be a lot of those actually. You can set the GPS to have a dilution of precision. So say you have a node and you don't want people to really stay, you want people to see that you're in the vicinity, but not precise. You don't want to be targeted basically. You know, you can set it so it shows, hey, I'm here, but you can't really, you don't know exactly where I am.
Yeah, sure.
This is John's node. So John has delineation of
Oh,
precision, so
okay.
it shows
Half
him.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it shows
Somewhere.
him.
I
Yeah.
said mine's a half mile of my actual.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna launch a missile at you.
Right, you're gonna miss.
We'll miss you.
You were talking about setting one up as a repeater. I guess first of all, is that something that, like, is that a setting you can put into any node? And second of all, does that basically just mean that it's only going to repeat, that it's not a client, it's not somebody sitting there sending text?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, so yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a setting on the app or setting on the web client. And once you set it, it's not gonna transmit GPS, it's not gonna transmit anything but what it's receiving. It's just gonna spit back out exactly like a router repeater.
And here's goes out a smile.
Just one thing, so the normal client ones, they're all doing that too, in addition to the client
Yes.
stuff. So if you have a bunch of people who are in like a state park and they're just using it as clients, they'll also repeat
Yes,
this.
yep.
Okay.
Yep, you can set it to client mute, like, you know, end devices, I have a car node, like, I set my end device to client mute and that one to client, so I know that that's gonna repeat. But this isn't sending, you know, I'm not creating a bunch of congestion by repeating signals that don't need to be repeated.
I was just wondering, if you send a message out to somebody, everybody on the system can see what you're sending?
In some cases, yes. If you have the intention to do that, there's a public channel. There's also a private text message, so I could text message just you. Or I could set up a whole private network or a channel and give my friends the encryption key. And yeah, all of your information is you know, protected by encryption. So nobody in the public channel is gonna be able to see your GPS or any of your data or your text messages, nothing.
Tony, I'm seeing nothing north of us. Does that mean it's just not there, or it's not?
Oh, no, there's
There's stuff there, okay.
Yeah, here you go.
Oh, okay.
So I picked a node up in California. I'm not quite sure how that happened. I'm not on MQTT. So That boggles my mind. That's thousands, that's a couple thousand miles. So,
Pick it up while it was there, or could they have
No,
been here
I-
traveling and then?
Right,
you-
yeah,
You know
so
what
they
I'm
could have
saying?
been there traveling and had their GPS set back to
Yeah.
California, and that's what I think, the most likely,
Yeah.
that's gotta be the most likely.
Is anything to, any communications to aircraft?
Yes, so a lot of people carry the little C trackers or the Spec 5 or little radios. Probably not the detonator, that's probably not good to bring on a
Can somebody
flight.
use this like for denial of service?
30,000 feet I've gotten text
Can
messages.
somebody, if somebody took this over and used it as a bot, is that possible? It just
Yes.
kind of overwhelmed the airwaves, and then can you triangulate to find out this, who's doing it?
Like a fox hunt?
Yes.
Yeah, yep, that's possible. I could do that with my hack RF, I can.
How can we contact you for more questions?
I can give you, get with me after.
So, pardon me, Gary, we actually flew a Meshtastic node, actually two of them, right? Yours
Yeah.
and Eric's, which unfortunately we lost due to a